What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowded Lake, and today we're going to be reading Chapter 12 of A Lesson in Practicality by ResidentAnchor on Wattpad. If you'd like to follow this person and support them, the link to the fic and to the author will be in the description below. With that being said, here's Chapter 12, Time to Talk. Logan had successfully moved Patton down from the roof and back into their apartment, wrapping him in a blanket pile on the couch. Patton had stopped randomly shivering intensively, but accepted the blankets for warmth and comfort eagerly. It really isn't his fault, Lo. It's an accident. It's no one's fault. Logan sighed and fell into the couch next to him. We should have been more cautious, Patton. We weren't completely sure about his abilities and took too big of a risk. You could have been hurt. Patton leaned over and placed his head on Logan's shoulder, his arms still buried beneath the blankets. Logan looked over at him with concern, but didn't speak up. We all thought we had it figured out. The only way to know was to test it, and we did. Now we know. I should have done it first. Logan spoke with a softer tone. He should have tested it on me, not you. He was more comfortable with me, Patton answered back. Worrying about this won't change what happened. I'm okay. It worked out okay. Logan sighed and didn't bother with a response. He shifted and lifted his arm hesitantly to wrap around Patton's shoulders. He paused and moved the last second, dropping it back to his sides, not quite sure what to do. This is fine, Lo. You're making me feel better already. They both sat in silence, just like that a bit, as Logan focused on Patton's breathing as it evened out. Patton smiled and shifted in his blanket cocoon. I'm getting a bit warm now. Mind helping me shed a few layers? Oh, of course. Logan reached over and pulled off two of the blankets, leaving the last one loose on Patton's shoulders. Do you need anything? I can get it. Patton never got a chance to move as Logan firmly placed a hand on Patton's shoulder, putting enough pressure to keep him in place. I'll get it. Patton smiled and let it go. Water? Oh, and my phone should be on the counter too. Logan nodded and got up, heading for the kitchen. He quickly returned with both objects, handing them over to Patton. The water was emptied almost immediately before he leaned over and placed it on the table. He looked at his phone and started typing away furiously. I'm gonna let Thomas know I'm okay and that he shouldn't feel bad. I still want to try and be friends if I can. I truly don't know how you can stay so positive. Patton looked over at Logan, who smirked a bit back. I seem to be more worried and upset than you are. You seem to be comforting me more than you. Patton placed his hand on Logan's knee, sincerely smiling back. I just try to be me. That's all I can do. They looked at each other in a comfortable silence before Logan stood up once more, turning back to Patton. I should go get one of those containers of food. We can sit on the couch and watch a movie. Logan, I'm fine, really. I feel much better. Almost as if it never happened. I bet I could even make two come out. No. Logan cut him off. Please, I'd feel more at ease if you just relaxed for now. Pick out a movie. I'll go grab us something to eat. Patton watched Logan leave before starting back down on his phone. He wasn't expecting Thomas to answer so soon, but the morning had left a sour taste that he wasn't going to let ruin the rest of his day. Logan sat back down and handed over a container. You're gonna let me eat in here? Patton asked. I feel the unusual circumstances call for it. Patton grabbed the food and leaned back. I'm not dying, Logan. Really, I'm okay. You're always okay, Patton. That's why I'm worried. You were the one who taught me that it's okay to not be okay. Patton leaned up and Logan smiled, patting his hand down on the couch. Logan took the spot back and Patton pulled him into his blanket. It's not your fault, Logan. Instead of answering, Logan just sighed and held on to his half of the blanket, keeping his distance. They sat there for a moment before the TV flickered to life, causing Patton to jump. Pick a movie, Patton. Oh, sure. He went to move out of the blanket when Logan reached over and stopped him with his arm. Logan shook his head and pointed to the small DVD collection. Just pick something. I'll take care of it. His eyes started to faintly glow, and Patton found a small stack of DVD cases placing themselves on the coffee table. Patton looked at the pile back to Logan with a curious expression, but decided to not ask for now. He picked up a case from the pile and held it up. How about this one? Roman returned a few hours later, tired and trying his best to remain quiet. He found Patton and Logan on the couch, a blanket around Logan, and lying down as Patton sat at the end watching TV. He clicked the door shut and Patton looked up, smiling over at him. He waved and made his way back into the kitchen, Patton carefully following. How was your day, Roman? Patton had no time before Roman spun around with a huge grin. I don't care, how was yours? Spend the day cuddle up watching movies on the couch with Logan? Roman wiggled his eyebrows. Sounds cozy. What? Oh. Patton looked over his shoulder to see the faint glow of the TV lighting up what little he could see of the couch. I think I scared him today. Scared Logan? Really? Patton nodded and looked down bashfully. Thomas came over earlier? Roman perked up at the news before tensing up. It didn't go so well, but it wasn't his fault. Patton looked determined to prove his point. It was an accident and I'm okay, so... What? Wait, what? No. Did he hurt you? Patton sighed. Roman placed his hands on Patton's shoulders, pulling him closer to check him over. Are you injured anywhere? Virgil is super paranoid. I'm sure he has a first aid kit we could use somewhere. Patton placed a hand on Roman's and tugged it off. No, I'm okay. A little tired, but fine. Patton, what happened? Promise me you won't go out and do something stupid if I tell you? Patton? Promise me you're not gonna go after Thomas for this, okay? Patton glared at Roman, who sighed and rubbed the back of his neck. Fine, I won't. I promise. Patton paced back and forth, mindful of his volume, to let Logan continue napping as he recalled the incident a few hours before. It was weird at first, like a warm blanket fresh from the dryer placed on my arm. You know the feeling. It kind of started to tingle, but then I started getting dizzy. Next thing I knew, I got really cold and the world was spinning and Logan caught me before I fell. I even tried bringing out Pat too, but it just sort of hurt. Like that part of me was shut off or taken out. Patton placed a hand on his chest and rubbed it. I feel fine now, like it never happened. Just kinda tired. Kind of like how I have this fuzzy feeling I use to focus mine, but somehow it felt like someone reached in and took it away. Or it started to, yeah. Patton looked back over to the couch. Logan handled it pretty calmly, but when we went back to the apartment, I could tell he was worried and panicking. But I'm fine, really. He kept insisting I relax, so I just let him do what he needed to feel better. Thus led Logan ungracefully asleep on the couch. Roman nodded in understanding. So Thomas just kind of ran off after? Patton shrugged. He said he was a danger to us and he was normal around other people. He sort of ran off in panic. There was a lot of panicking. Should I make panic pancakes? Think that would help? I don't know if Thomas likes pancakes. Thomas? You're still trying to be friends with him after all of that? Roman, that's not fair. Patton gave a disapproving look. We forced this all onto him and things went bad. At the very least, we should apologize and give him the option to do what he wants. We can all still be friends. Logan even shook his hand with a glove and that seemed to have worked. So he has to wear gloves around us all the time. Not fashionable, but I could get used to it. I mean, I haven't properly met him yet. You promised me you wouldn't go looking for trouble with him. He will come back if he wants to. You're not gonna force anything onto him. Fine, you're right. I'll leave it alone for now. Roman looked over at Patton with an intense look. Are you sure you're okay, Pat? Patton huffed and let his shoulders drop. Yeah, I was kind of scared, but I wanted to be brave. And then I could feel Logan starting to really freak out, and I wanted to try to calm him down. He looked up and gave a tired smile. Really am okay now. I promise. That's good to hear, though. I'm sure Virgil won't be happy about this. I'm not happy about this, Pat. I know, but it's okay. Virgil huffed and pulled out his phone as a distraction. Come on. We can still be friends and sort this all out. I still haven't even met him, Patton. He kept scrolling through his phone, not staring off into space. I'll make my opinion on the guy when he isn't running away from us. Patton sighed and looked over at Roman, who shrugged back in response. That's all I can ask for, I suppose. Well, he perked up a bit. Logan went back to working on something, and we have plenty of food, so help yourselves for tonight. Patton walked into his room, off of the living room, leaving the other two alone. You handled that well, Roman commented, looking down at the other on the couch. Virgil shrugged and kept clicking away on his phone. I figured you'd be a bit upset about everything that happened. I thought you would be too. Roman groaned quietly. I promised Patton I wouldn't do anything. Good. Virgil shut up from the couch. Then you cannot do anything and follow me. Roman shot Virgil a confused glance. Excuse me? Virgil spun his phone around, a photo of Thomas on the screen. The internet is a magical place. Come on, I have a super nerd I need to track down. Did you just stalk him on social media? You coming or what, Princey? Virgil headed for the door, and Roman hesitated a moment before chasing after. They were only down the street before he couldn't take the silence anymore. You have any idea where he could be? Not really, but I have a general area. A general area? Roman quickened his pace and cut the other off. That won't help if he's not there. Hello? Virgil pointed to himself. I can stop time. If he was in a spot like a day or so ago, I can find him. Or we can find out where he will be. It's not that hard. Virgil walked around Roman and kept going. I thought you were against using your powers like this. Roman jogged to catch up. What happened? I don't know. Despite your vanishing act, nothing seems to go terribly wrong. I'm going to avoid it if I can, but maybe not everything that can go wrong will. Roman gasped dramatically at this, grabbing his chest. Are you taking a chance? Har har, shut up, let's go. We have to take the bus around town. Why? What have you figured out? They stopped at the corner and looked before crossing. Based on where he buys groceries in the park, you found him. I googled the locations of all local theaters in the city and found a general area he would be in. Roman let out a low whistle. That is some grade A stalking there, Verge. Yeah, well, Patton almost passed out, and then he ran off. I'm not letting him get away with that shit. Aw, it's almost like you care. Virgil shot Roman a look. What are you gonna do? Make sure he apologizes to Patton, of course. So, you're doing all of this for Patton? Virgil stopped and spun around to Roman. I'm doing this for all of us because this upsets Patton, which worried Logan, which makes me super anxious, and you're going to want to protect us from all this. But you promised you wouldn't, so then you'll start stressing. He turned around, continuing to walk. I'm allowed to step up too. Our hero. Virgil glanced over at Roman, who had the cheesiest smile on his face. Really though, Verge, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, whatever. Shut up. Let's go. It took roughly and a half hour for Roman to start complaining that he was bored. The sun had started to set, and they hadn't covered much ground. They had checked the park Roman had met him in, and a few blocks, but randomly stumbling upon Thomas was near impossible. This isn't going to work. I'm tired. So, you have better ideas? Maybe if you wish hard enough, we'll find him. Virgil snipped back with sarcasm. Roman scoffed and increased his pace, taking the lead. We probably won't find him today, but I will find him. Roman ignored the comment and crossed the street, heading in the opposite direction. Why is this so important to you? Virgil didn't answer Roman, looked back at him. Well, nothing. Virgil, you can trust me. Just tell me what's up. Virgil thought about it before growling out an answer. Because he's an unknown factor. Will he tell anyone? Are government agents going to show up and take us all away to experiment on us? Is he playing a game with us? Maybe it's part of some big evil plan. I don't know. Whoa. Calm down. I doubt it's anything like that. Logan and Patton seemed to believe he was sincere when he ran off. That's fine, but... Virgil huffed. Patton is too trusting, and I still don't completely trust Logan again. He looked down at the ground as he walked away. I just want to form my own opinion. Fair enough, I've hardly spoken a word to the guy. Roman suddenly stopped and looked around before turning. This way. What? Hey! Virgil ran to catch up, running across the street in a hurry. Where are you going? Roman shrugged and continued to walk. Don't know, just followed my gut, I guess. You walked us around for a while and we didn't get anywhere. We haven't been out that long. Stop being dramatic. Roman threw a head back in laughter. Me. Not being dramatic? He held his stomach and took in a few breaths. That was a good one. Next you'll get rid of everything black in your wardrobe. Hey, I own clothes with color. Yeah, purple and red. Good job with that. No, I think I own this one blue shirt too. Oh no, Roman smirked. One whole blue shirt that I have never seen you wear. Virgil smiled and shoved Roman playfully. Shut it, you dress like you're in a Spanish soap opera most days. Roman ran his hand through his hair to make it look a bit slicked back. I mean, have you seen me? Yeah, that's exactly my point. Roman took in an offended gasp and started to laugh. I bet you will waste hours doing nothing and Patton will freak out when we get back. Roman turned to Virgil. We didn't exactly tell him we left. Nah. Patton will text us and we'll be fine. Besides, we won't be out here too long. So, we're betting on this then? I say you'll stay out all night before going home, because you're too anxious to stop until we're done. Oh, what are you placing down, Roman shrugged and Virgil smiled. Oh, I know. If we somehow find Thomas tonight, you have to admit that I'm prettier than you. What? No. Roman shouted, offended. Why would you want to hear that? Only because it would bother you to admit it. Wait, if we find him tonight? Oh, that is too good to pass up. Roman rubbed his hands together. If we don't, then you have to ask Logan how you know when you're in love with someone, or at least get him to then ask Patton. You're still on about that. Virgil shook his head. Why are you so determined they'll get together? There's been, no signs. It's a gut feeling I have, and hasn't been wrong yet. Every couple I say will get together has indeed gotten together. And how many has that been? Roman smirked sheepishly. 2? Oh, wow. So impressive. Virgil scoffed. Fine. I'll play in your little shipping game. We don't find him tonight, and I'll talk to Logan. Roman spun around. Excellent. He reached out his hand. A gentleman's agreement. Virgil looked down at the hand and smirked, taking, "Fine, no harm in that." He reached his hand back to his pocket. "Even if I lose, I get to make Logan flustered." Roman turned and continued back down the street. "Yeah, I knew I picked something too, out there like I wanted. You'd bail. Where's the fun in that?" Virgil glanced around at the street around them before looking at Roman. "We're not even in the same part of the city. Where are you taking us again?" "I told you, whenever the wind takes me, just enjoying the scenery." Roman took a turn before a different road. "Okay, but because it seems like you have a place in mind." "No, really, Roman stopped and shot out an arm to stop Virgil as well. "Huh? What?" Virgil looked up at him and then down at the street. "What's wrong?" "I was kind of letting my feet guide me." He pointed down the street and across the road. "So, how do you think that happened?" Virgil looked across the street and bit his tongue. "Is that him?" "I think so." Roman looked both ways before running across the street after the figure heading the same way they were. "He doesn't see us. We have to be smart about this." Virgil got onto the sidewalk and snorted out a laugh. "Smart nothing." He walked forward and cupped his hands around his mouth. "Thomas!" The figure stopped and turned around, looking at the two confused. Virgil looked at Roman and jogged up to Thomas, Roman quickly following behind. Thomas looked at the two before shoving his hands in his pockets. "Hi, can I help you?" "Yeah," where Roman was cut off by Virgil jabbing him in the elbow into Roman's gut. "Oof, watch it!" He rubbed the spot. "Quiet, Princey, let me do the talking." "Okay?" Thomas asked before taking a step back. "Sorry, do I know you?" "Name's Virgil." He reached out a hand with a smirk. "Nice to meet ya." Roman reached forward and grabbed Virgil's arm before Thomas had a chance to shake it. "Are you stupid?" "Wait," Thomas's eyes flickered between the two. "You're the other roommates, aren't you?" He put his hands up and took a few steps back in retreat. "Look, I'm sorry, but hey, I just wanted a few minutes of your time and I'll be out of here. If that's too much to ask, then fine, we'll go," Virgil stated. Thomas looked between the two before he let out a sigh. "Fine, a few minutes. I owe you that much." "You owe us nothing, Thomas. We were the ones who brought this upon you. Mr. Dark and Brooding here just wanted to have a word with you since you never got the chance to." Thomas looked at Roman before putting a figure at him. "You're the prince I met at the park. With the sparks?" Roman smiled and lifted his chin proudly. "At your service." "Come on, Thomas. Can't forget about me, huh?" Virgil offered his hand once more. "Name's Virgil." Thomas looked down at his hand baffled. "You know what will happen if I shake your hand, right?" "Try me." But I could hurt you, or worse." Virgil shrugged and gave a sinister grin. "Kind of what I'm hoping for." "Virg!" Roman grabbed his arm once more, causing the other to laugh. "Don't talk like that." Virgil put his arms away, still smiling to himself. "Relax, I knew he wouldn't do it." He crossed his arms and stared down at the other. "So, you hurt Patton?" "Look, I apologized and said I'd leave you all alone." "Ah!" Virgil cut him off. "Who said that was what we wanted? Patton just wanted to make a friend." "Have you seen his puppy dog eyes?" Roman stage whispered. "You can't say no to that face." I don't get it. I can't be near you. All I can do is hurt you." "Yeah, so can Roman." Virgil jabbed a thumb at the other. So can Logan, and you've seen that firsthand. Hell, all of us can. But we sorted it all out. "Look, why are you here?" Thomas shuffled uncomfortably. "I was a normal guy. Nothing weird ever happened to me. Now you show up, and things got super weird, and I accidentally hurt Patton. Wouldn't you want me to stay away?" "Listen, Rouge, you're not going to give us all the kiss of death," Roman said. "Virgil, looked up at him and cocked an eyebrow. What, so I can't read comics too? Virgil rolled his eyes. All we're saying is, could you at least answer Patton whenever you're ready? If not the rest of us, give him a second chance. The guy's a living embodiment of sunshine. He was so upset you left the way you did. Virgil chuckled to himself. He was also upset you didn't eat or take food before you ran off. Thomas stood there silently before nervously running a hand through his hair. So you chased me down to tell me you want me to still try to be friends with Patton? No, Virgil asked. Honestly, if you could find out if you can take away our abilities without killing us, I'm all for that. I don't want the damn thing anyway. It's a bother. Virgil! However, Virgil cleared his throat. I'll deny ever saying this, but yeah, I'm doing this for Patton. He believes in you for some reason or another, and I hate to see him upset. It's like watching a puppy cry. Aw, I don't want to think about puppies crying, Roman muttered. Thomas nodded in agreement, looking down and shuffling nervously. At least consider it. Well, you were willing to find me to try and make Patton happy. I don't see why I can't at least answer his text. He looked up at the two. How did you find me anyway? Roman let out a loud laugh and shook his head. I have no idea. We turned onto the street and there you were. Right. Thomas pointed over at Roman. So like, an electricity-based power, right? Roman nodded, and Thomas turned to Virgil. Could I ask what you can do? I can freeze time. Virgil shrugged. Helps me get extra sleep. Oh, wow. You freeze time to take naps and get more sleep? Thomas kept a face blank before he started to smile. That is brilliantly lazy. He chuckled. I can totally see someone doing that. Virgil shrugged and looked a bit smug. You know, you're not that bad of a guy, Thomas. He stretched out his hand once more. It was nice meeting you. Roman reached over and grabbed Virgil's hand once more. Will you stop doing that? What? Death sounds like a long, peaceful nap. I wouldn't mind. Despite his words, Virgil was beaming and holding back laughter. Oh, har har, Mr. Funny Guy, I see. He tugged on Virgil's hand and spun around. Have a nice day, Thomas. Glad to have this talk. May we meet another day. Oh, okay. Bye. Virgil looked up at Roman as he marched down the street with determination, dragging him along the whole way. They made it a block over before Virgil was able to catch up and tug his hand back. Okay, you can let me go now. Oh, I apologize. Roman took his own hand back. Did you have to talk like that? What? Dark, brooding, sassy? Sounds like me. Virgil looked over at Roman, still smiling. Besides, I was kidding. He wouldn't do that. Especially based on how he apparently reacted before. Were you kidding earlier? Of course I was. Virgil tilted his head back a bit. I just wanted to freak him out a bit. No, not that. The not wanting your powers thing. Virgil cocked an eyebrow at the question. I haven't hidden the fact that I don't like my powers. Don't know why you're surprised. Because you just started admitting to yourself that you could do some good with them. I just thought, Roman sighed. I mean, you don't have to have them to be part of our group, but I didn't think you'd want them gone. It stayed silent like that for a bit as they walked down the road side by side. Look, I didn't think getting rid of them was an option, but now it might be. I always thought if I could, I would. No hesitation. I didn't really think about actually keeping them if I had the choice. It's your decision. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been so noisy. You're not being nosy, Roman. Virgil nudged the other and smiled up at him until their eyes met. It's a perfectly normal concern. We'd still be friends. Of course, I mean, it's not hard not to want my best friend. I mean, it's hard not to want to be my friend after meeting me, you know? You're nervous, but in your dreams, Princey. Virgil was happy. The tension had left the air. Besides, it's all hypothetical. I'm stuck being a weirdo like you. Aw, you do care. Speaking of, Virgil stopped walking, and Roman turned and looked at him. I guess I won the bet. Oh. Roman's eyes widened and he shook his head. No, anything but that. Virgil cupped his ear with his hand. I'm sorry, what was that? Roman huffed and crossed his arms, mumbling. Speak up, I need to hear it. You're cuter than I am. Ooh. Virgil smiled up at Roman. Sorry, it was supposed to be prettier. Try again. Roman ignored him and turned around, continuing his trek home. Which bus will take us on the right route again? Come on, Roman. You lost the bet. Let me hear you say it. I did. Now which bus? You know the routes better than I do. They sat quietly on the bus as Roman hummed along, watching the city pass by. Virgil suddenly hopped off at one stop, Roman not paying much attention to where they had been. Disembarking, Roman followed Virgil until the other spoke up. So, I have a theory. Oh, please do share. About you. Oh, my good looks are not the reason for my success, though they do not hurt. Good theory, though. Virgil sent Roman an unamused look. Sorry, go on. We all have some secondary ability that is kind of like a side effect. Logan has his telekinesis, but mind reading usually is paired with it, though I'm not sure if that counts. Then Patton is also an empath. I apparently also make portals when I break free of time. I am a charming, overly charged battery. Yes, do go on. Virgil stopped and spun around on the mostly empty street. See, that doesn't fit. That's not a side effect. That's part of the main effect. Roman frowned and nodded. You thinking maybe something else? Virgil nodded and looked around. It's just an idea, but when you were having a few bad days, nothing seemed to go right for you. Roman rolled his eyes and spun around with a dramatic flair. Oh, don't remind me. It was horrible. You felt better and things started going your way again. Roman turned and looked at him, nodding. Yes, that's usually how things work with people. I can wake up on a bad day and have a good day. It's all cause or correlation. I think you're different. I think you're more emotionally charged. Roman looked at Virgil with a blank look. Okay, how about this? You felt good, so you give off a positive charge. Good things start happening because of it. Oh. Roman thought back to his last week. I mean, I can see how that makes sense, but how are you sure? I'm not. Virgil shoved his hands in his pockets. But how else can we explain you randomly leading us right to the right person we wanted to find? You met him before, so it may be possible. I've really never put that much thought into it, Roman gasped loudly. Could I attract people to see my shows? Oh, Broadway, here I come. I'm not sure if that's how it works, it's just an idea. You always seem to be at the right place, even when I send you back those times. It's all worked out. A little too well, I think. They walked up and entered the apartment, greeted by a worried Patton and a tired Logan. You're back! You didn't tell me you were leaving! I told you they would be fine, Patton. You wouldn't let me text them. They're full-grown adults. Sorry, Patton, Roman called out. We just went for a bit of a walk around the city to clear our heads. We both had rough days. Yeah, the first day back after the break-in and all, Virgil muttered. Patton sighed and nodded. Well, then that's good. You feel better? Yeah, the night air helped loads. Roman stretched his arms over his head. Perhaps too well. I shall prepare to sleep soon. Me too. We all had a long day. Patton perked up. Thomas did end up getting back to me, though. He wants his space, but he said maybe we can still be friends. I can't wait for you two to properly meet him. Oh, Virgil smiled. I can wait. You know how I don't like meeting new people. Nonsense, I'm sure he's lovely. Roman smiled down at Virgil. Great, I'm off to bed then. Patton happily walked off to his room. Roman yawned into his hand. I am as well. Good night to you two. Now that you both have returned, I shall also retreat to my room. Logan turned to leave. Hey, wait, I got a question. Logan stopped and turned back around. Why'd you freak out over Patton so much earlier? Logan adjusted his glasses casually. I do not believe I freaked out earlier. I showed concern for a friend, and not being in a position quite like that, yes, I could have been a bit more level-headed, but I am sure I handled things just fine. Whatever you say, Logan. Virgil walked past Logan and waved a small salute. Good night. Yes, good night. Logan looked at Patton's door before turning to Roman's. Interesting. Logan smirked to himself. Out for a walk together for over an hour? Logan pondered the question, walking back to his room for the night. Thank you all so much for listening. Once again, if you'd like to support the author, please do so in the links in the description below. ResidentAnchor, really talented. I love this fic. It's amazing. And if you'd like to support me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I am mostly a Care Bear channel, but I do dabble in Cindersides and Cats the Musical, I suppose. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and much like Logan piecing together the other's relationship, do your best.